Hey guys, and welcome back to the Finance channel. My name is Daniel, and today we will be analyzing Square stock, ticker symbol SQ. In today's video, I'm going to go through Square's fundamentals, their financials, their business model, and analyst expectations. And make sure to stick around till the second half of the video where I go through Square's revenue growth, because there's something pretty misleading in the way they report their revenue that not a lot of people know about, and in my opinion everyone should, because it changes the valuation of the company. So make sure to stick around till then. Now, just for a bit of background here, Square currently trading at around $200 a share at a market cap of around $88 billion. This is just one of those companies that has skyrocketed since the March lows. It bottomed out right around $33 a share, and now it's trading at around $200. So, a giant move upwards for Square. Generally speaking, the stock IPO'd back around November of 2016 at around $12 a share. And now it's trading at $200. So congratulations to anyone holding it thus far. And yeah, now in terms of their business model, it's really divided into two things. They have the seller ecosystem, and then they have Cash App. So I'm going to kind of divide these two, go through the seller ecosystem first, and then go through Cash App. And then after that, I'll go through things like revenue growth, analyst expectations, and things along those lines. But before we get into that, if you are new here, first of all, welcome to the community. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to see more videos just like this one. And if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to hit that like button, as it really helps the channel out. If you have any ticker symbols or questions that you want to ask me, make sure to drop those in the comment section and I'll get back to you soon. Now, in terms of the seller ecosystem, I pulled this from Square's site. Square is a cohesive commerce ecosystem that helps sellers start, run, and grow their business. We combine sophisticated software and affordable hardware to enable sellers to turn mobile and computing devices into powerful payment and point-of-sale solutions. Our tools help sellers make informed business decisions through the use of analytics and reporting. Sellers can manage their orders, inventory, locations, and employees, engage customers and grow their sales, and gain access to business loans. So Square pretty much covers everything needed for a small, medium-sized business. So here on the left, we have pretty much the seller ecosystem, Square's products, the terminal, the register, the reader, the stand, the dock, and the reader for something that you just plug into your phone and you can swipe credit cards with. And there really is an option for any business. If you're a small business or a food stand, you can get something like a terminal or a reader for your phone and pay using that, or do transactions through that. But if you're a bigger business, you can use the stand, or you can use the register. There really is an option for any individual. So here is a nice chart of the seller ecosystem. This is a business-to-business product, so Square is selling this to other businesses. It's point of sale and managed payments, so it really is everything a business needs to operate. Square for restaurants, Square for retailer. These are really individualized experiences for certain businesses. Whether you're a restaurant or a retailer, you really have a very individualized program that allows you to track your product, how much you've sold, things along those lines. Square has customer engagement and payroll. You can pay your employees through Square very easily. Your employees can clock in and out through Square, which is great. Square keeps track of all of that. Square also does invoices for you, since it has access to all of your transactions, the time of those transactions, how much, pretty much everything is done through Square automatically. Square does appointments for you through online. It keeps track of all of that. Square Capital, as mentioned previously, businesses can apply to small and medium-sized loans. E-commerce, Square has an e-commerce store that businesses can use, essentially very similar to Shopify, where, the e-commerce side connects to the point of sale. If you have certain products, no matter where it's sold, whether in a retailer or online, it keeps track of that. And, there's Square Card as well, where you can spend money directly from your Square account, and virtual terminal. So again, you can buy stuff through the e-commerce site. Developer platform, so to customize your site depending on what level of skill you are with programming. If you're not, you just use the general setup for the sites. But if you're more of an advanced programmer, you have option to take care of that. Now, in terms of who Square is targeting with this product, It really is the mid-market and small and medium-sized businesses. Really a majority, or kind of right in the middle of where businesses lie. They're not really targeting the enterprises, the ones with 100 million plus in annual sales, or the micro businesses with under $250,000 in sales. They're really targeting kind of the middle. But keep in mind, the other sectors are potential areas of growth for Square in the future. Now, currently, the US holds an $85 billion plus TAM, total addressable market, for Square. You get this from $39 billion in transaction profit, $30 billion from software, $12 billion from Square Capital, and $5 billion from financial services. It's important to note, this is just the US, right? In the medium term, possible $16 billion transaction profit in current international markets, places like Canada or Europe, things along those lines. New products and use cases. This company continues to innovate. This is what I love about any growth company. It has to be an innovator at its core. That's what Square is. In the long term, new markets, new countries, and expand further up market to those larger enterprise businesses. Now, the second business of Square is Cash App, really revolutionizing the financial sector. It's a place where you can store money, send money, invest money, and pretty much do everything. Now, again, we have a nice chart here of what Cash App is. It started off as a person-to-person transaction place where you can store your money and essentially send it to whoever you want without any fees within an instant. But they have expanded since then. They have Cash Card. You can spend the money in your Cash App account in pretty much any physical retailer, online retailer, things along those lines. Boost, if you use the Cash Card, you get money back on your purchases. Stocks, you can invest that money in your account directly into stocks without any transaction fees. You can also do fractional shares, buy fractional shares of companies. Direct deposit, directly deposit your money into the Cash App account and directly take it out, things along those lines. And Bitcoin as well. You can buy and sell Bitcoin through the Cash App. Now, we're going to kind of go through each of these sectors a little more in depth. Payments, send and receive money with anyone, donate to an important cause, or tip professionals. Just enter a cash tag, phone number, or scan their QR code to pay. We have banking, receive your paycheck, tax returns, and other direct deposits up to 2 days early using your Cash App routing and account number. Cash Card and Boost. The Cash Card is a free customizable debit card that lets you pay online and in stores. It's the only way to get boosts, instant discounts that work at places where you want to spend. And investing, stocks. Whether you're an expert or just getting started, Cash App is the fastest and most accessible way to invest in stocks. Start now with as little as $1. Bitcoin. Cash App is the fastest way to convert your dollars into Bitcoin. From your home screen, 6 taps are all it takes to buy an entire Bitcoin or just see what it's all about. So what Square has done is essentially create the perfect place to put your money. If you have money in your Cash App account, you can spend that money, you can send that money to other individuals, you can buy stocks, you can buy Bitcoin, you can get paid straight to the account. And I mean, it really is what Elon Musk wanted to do with PayPal before he was kicked out of it. He wanted to create a place or a product so good that it rivals with all of these other banks. Who wants to be with a bank when you can be with Cash App and skip all of those forms of having to set up all these long processes of setting up all of these accounts where you create one account and you have access to stocks, Bitcoin, person-to-person transactions, using that money at retailers or online. A really just incredible place for individuals to hold their money and do anything with it. Now, how Cash App generates revenue? You pretty much take the active customers and multiply that by the revenue per customer. They get active customers by getting acquisitions, creating retention, and then you have win back. Revenue per customer, product adoption, engagement, and monetization. Cash App is continuing to find new ways to monetize its platform. And I mean, as more people continue to use the product, you're going to be able to generate more revenue. And as these people start to use Cash App more and more, that revenue will also go up. Now, in terms of the TAM for Cash App at this moment, $20 billion opportunity in sending, $41 billion opportunity in spending, and $2 billion opportunity in investing. Again, a $60 billion plus revenue opportunity in the US at this moment in time. And I mean, in the medium term, new products and use cases is something that Square wants to do. Again, just a company that continues to innovate. They're gonna have no problem to continue to release new products, to increase engagement, and to increase new customers. In the long term, Cash App wants to expand into further markets. Right now, they're only in the US and in the UK. I mean, once they expand into Canada, into other European countries, maybe into Asia, again, a great growth driver for Square in the future. And I mean, the international market, in my opinion, is much bigger than the current US market. But I mean, right now, in the US alone, $60 billion opportunity for Cash App. Now, in terms of Square's balance sheet, I think this is a pretty good balance sheet as far as balance sheets do go. Total current assets of $6.5 billion, around $3 billion of that is in cash and short-term investments. Total assets of $8.1 billion. And total current liabilities here, let's take a look. It's at $3.8 billion as of this moment in time. So again, significantly less than their current assets, so they have no problem paying that down at the end of the year. Total liabilities are at $6 billion, and again, they have more assets than liabilities. And either way, this company is at a point where their market cap is so large that they can, just dilute maybe 3, 4, 5% of their shares, and generate so much cash that they can continue to operate, continue to invest into new products, and pay down all of this debt without diluting that many shares. Now, in terms of Square's revenue growth, I mean, it's just been incredible since 2016. Here we have some data. Started at under 500 million, and now it's over $3 billion on a quarterly basis. And here we have kind of an idea of where all of this revenue is coming from, and we can see that Bitcoin is generally the main growth driver for Square in the past few quarters. And in my opinion, that's what's responsible for this giant jump in the stock price over the past few quarters. I mean, this is nuts how they've managed to, almost double their revenue in 1 year, rather double their quarterly revenue in just a span of a year. It's just incredible when you see a lot of these businesses, their revenues going down, 50, 60, 70%. Square's out here growing their revenues by double. Now, I personally have a bit of a problem with the way Square reports their Bitcoin revenue because it can be very misleading to a lot of investors. Now, I'm going to take you guys to their income statement here. Now, their Bitcoin revenue was at $1.63 billion for Q3 of 2020, representing over 50% of the total net revenue for that quarter. Look at the cost of that revenue. At $1.6 billion. It cost them $1.6 billion to create that $1.63 billion in Bitcoin revenue, meaning that they only made around $30 million in gross profit from that revenue, which is like under 2%. Under 2%. Under 2% margin for 50% of your revenue. Something doesn't add up here. Well, that's because Square is reporting their Bitcoin revenue as their Bitcoin transactions. Meaning, let's use a metaphor here. That's like a stockbroker reporting all stocks traded within the day as their revenue, even though they only take a couple percent commission from that. Bitcoin takes a 1.76% commission from all Bitcoin transactions. Well, guess what? 1.76% of 1.63 billion should be $30 million. Meaning that they're only doing $30 million in revenue from their Bitcoin transactions, even though they're reporting well over $1.5 billion in revenue. Now, this completely skews their revenue and their valuation because it's created a false sense of real high exponential revenue growth. I mean, we can look on the chart here. The revenue growth has just been incredible over the past few quarters. And this is one of those things that has driven their stock price up from $37 a share up to $200 a share. Because while a lot of these companies are declining in revenues by 50, 60, 70%. Bitcoin's growing by over double. Now, take a look at this chart. They've done over $3 billion this current quarter, under $2 billion last quarter. If we put this Bitcoin revenue into context by what it should be, we should only have $1.4 billion in revenue for this quarter and a little over $1 billion this last quarter. This stock has gone up like a rocket ship over the past few quarters because of this revenue growth. Even though this is what their revenue growth should have looked like, their revenue should have declined for Q1 and Q2. Just something to think about. The market is pricing in this revenue growth, even though this is how their revenue actually looks like. Now, this completely skews the price to sales. It is supposedly 11.5, but it's actually 24. And keep in mind, this isn't like a lot of those high-flying growth software as a service tech companies that have margins of 80, 90%. They're margins that are under 50%. It's not like this company's making an incredible amount of money through everything they sell. Now, what do we use now? Do we use their price to earnings? I personally don't like using price to earnings for growth companies because they're investing so much into innovation, their products, and to expand their business. But a trailing PE of 300, a forward PE of 170, you can't use this. And by these metrics, it's all overvalued. So, how do you value this? Even analysts, you can't really use analysts' expectations because these expectations are pricing in the Bitcoin revenue in the wrong way, even though it should only be 1.7%. Their sales didn't grow by 400% this current quarter. It's not going to grow 100% next year. It's not going to grow 300% for this current quarter. That's not how it works. The way they're reporting it creates a falsely cheap stock. So, it's just something to think about, and it really is misleading a lot of investors into thinking that Square is a cheap stock, even though it's quite an expensive stock. Now, again, Square is trading at an $88 billion valuation. I like everything about it in terms of their balance sheet, in terms of their products, in terms of their business model, in terms of their future expectations. This kind of marketing, or rather this accounting trick that they've done with this Bitcoin revenue does really kind of affect my thoughts on the company in a bit of a negative way. Because I can tell you a lot of investors are getting misled by this. Thankfully, the stock is trading at all-time highs, which allows pretty much everyone who was invested in it to be up on their positions and to kind of give it a second thought. But it's definitely something to think about. If the market's pricing in revenue growth of 100, 200%, but their revenue is actually only growing by around 20, 30, 40%, how would the stock price react in that case if their revenues were only growing by that much? And if this stock doesn't go under $100, it's not going to be something that I buy. Again, I like everything about it except its valuation. That's the only thing that kind of is pushing me from not investing in it. Again, if it goes under $100, that's kind of where I'd kind of start considering it. And I'll let you guys know if it ever gets down there, I'll make another video and update you guys. And just to put this into context, Tesla is trading at a forward PE of 125. Tesla is a company, it's known by Wall Street as one of the most overvalued companies out there. Tesla forward PE of 125, Square forward PE of 200. Tesla's going to be growing their revenue, 45% next year. It's definitely something to think about. If you haven't considered Tesla and you're considering Square, in my opinion, rather, I would rather choose Tesla over Square if I were to consider investing in one of them. But that's just kind of my opinion. If you have any thoughts on this, please let me know down in the comments section down below. We can have a nice conversation. I wish you all a great day and happy investing.